Satoru Gojo's performance throughout this fight against Sukuna has been nothing short of amazing. The abilities he's showcasing throughout this entire fight up to this point, he's done things that we never thought were possible. Using reverse curse technique to heal out your burnt curse technique, making a domain the size of a basketball, which I still find pretty crazy. And the use of his applications with the infinity to fully maximize blue and red truly shows you why Gege had to put Gojo in a box to not interfere with the plot. Gojo has without a doubt proved he is the strongest, especially with the ending of chapter of 235. Gojo successfully dealt with Maharaga using his unlimited hollow technique purple, detonated it in Shujuki with Maharaga and Sukuna there with Gojo included. It completely decimated Maharaga and left Sukuna heavily injured, who is now stated by Kukasabe his healing has slowed because of the damage and is unable to now use domain amplification, which is one way of him bypassing the infinity gone now. And without Maharaga, Sukuna at this point has no way of bypassing the infinity and touching Gojo from what we know, which led to Kukasabe saying this is Gojo's win. So without a doubt, that would lead you to believe that this fight is over. This concludes who's stronger between Gojo and Sukuna, and that's that. That's what Gege would lead you to believe. I'm not falling for this Gege special at all. At all. This is a typical Gege writing in this case, or better known as the shonen trope, where it seems like the hero has the win in the bag, but out of nowhere, the villain has something up his sleeves that completely changes the direction of the fight that we initially thought was case closed. And not only do I believe that this fight isn't over, I honestly believe in this next chapter or two will be the end of Satoru Gojo. Now that might sound like the most ridiculous thing you've heard, but just bear with me. And even when the odds got even worse for Gojo, having to deal with Maharaga that's adapted to the infinity and blue, and dealing with a whole other Shinigami Sukuna summoned by combining a whole bunch of different ones, and dealing with even Sukuna himself, Gojo just for a second thought the possibility of him losing was very apparent, and he still did not allow himself to fall to despair and was still able to destroy both Agito and Maharaga and left Sukuna heavily injured. And this is going into why I think not only is this fight not over, but why Gojo's actually going to end up losing at the end despite the heroic performances he's put up throughout this entire fight since it started. Gege throughout the fight has clearly tried to show his best that these two combatants who are both held as the strongest in their times as equals. However, he decided to go on an interesting route with having Gojo dominate the fight in more ways than one. Usually how these fights go, the villain is the one who would be winning throughout the majority of the fight, and then the hero would charge up or have some new ability out of nowhere that has them come back and win. But this fight has been entirely different than that. He's clearly shown Gojo as being the better fighter up to this point, and I love it that way. Because no matter how you slice it, Gojo winning this fight entirely on his own and beating Sukuna at the end isn't the greatest piece of writing you can have, especially when most of the chapters have ended in the favor of Gojo, who's on the right side to us, on the protagonist side. Here's why I think this way. Number one, we still need to see Sukuna's curse technique, or at least some reference towards it. Back in chapter 115, we see Sukuna say open with a black box where he can start using flames. He also used this against Maharaga when he fought him to keep Megami alive. Obviously, Gege isn't going to just drop this reveal all the way back then and then have Sukuna say at the time to Jogo that he won't cheat by revealing his curse technique, as something we never actually explore and look at. I honestly think it's beneath Gege to believe that won't at least happen at some point. Number two, we see Yorozu's gift in effect that was gifted to Sukuna. Now this I'm not as high on, but Gege dropping this at the end of the Sukuna and Yorozu fight has to eventually play a role in this. No way Gege just drops that and then leave it how it is. I don't have any theories on how effective the gift Yorozu gave him, maybe with some liquid metal, But the ending of that chapter, the way it ended, 100% is going to have a role later down the line, whether that be right now to end this fight or for a future fight that Sukuna has to have. Number 3, Gojo beating Sukuna here defeats all the purpose of the build-up that Gege has been writing for his students. Since we've seen Gojo and how he's portrayed throughout Jujutsu Kaisen, he solves all the problems for the sorcerers in the modern day. As stated by Kin in chapter 155, Satoru Gojo always cleans up your messes. Yours is referring to Jujutsu High. And the whole point of the culling games for the protagonist was to build up enough points to help save Megami's sister and eventually free Satoru Gojo from the prison realm. And throughout all of that, including from the moment Gojo was sealed in Shibuya, we've seen them go through a lot of trial and error and grow as Jujutsu sorcerers. To me, Gojo being freed and then beating one of their biggest obstacles in Sukuna then just goes against all of that to me, and it's just really not good writing, especially when there has been a build-up since Gojo has been sealed. Them seeing Gojo be defeated by Sukuna here would be such a impactful and emotional moment for all his students, where we can see them enraged and then grow even more as characters, and then go over and fight Sukuna and then triumph over Sukuna in such a dire situation would be such great character development to me. Gojo winning just gets rid of all of that potential character development and gets rid of all of the buildup that Gege has been doing for these students. That is just a huge plot line that I believe that just goes against Gojo just straight up just beating Sukuna here. And for my 4th and final point why I believe this is the end of Gojo and why he won't win against Sukuna is that Sukuna and Yuji have to have a confrontation at some point. Not only has Sukuna just been Yuji's foil since chapter 1 or 2 of the story, he goes against everything Yuji stands for. Sukuna cannot stand Yuji. Likewise with Yuji cannot stand Sukuna. Even though they coexisted at some point, Sukuna truly dread Yuji. Yuji's entire plot and point is him wanting to save lives and living, something that his grandpa passed down to him, while Sukuna can't stand Yuji for that. In chapter 214, Sukuna explains to Yuji that why do weak people like him cling to life, continuing on your path means destruction, yet you wish to be happy for as long as possible? Sukuna just doesn't understand Yuji, and Yuji doesn't understand why Sukuna just loves spreading misery as much as he do. These two, without a doubt, have to clash at one point to truly settle it. And Sukuna losing and getting beat to Gojo here would be such a waste to a main character that a lot of people don't even consider a main character, that Gojo has clearly built up, that seemingly looks very special. And if Gege threw this away with Gojo just winning at the end of chapter 236, this will be truly a terrible thing for Jujutsu Kaisen's story. At the end of the day, it's not like I don't love Gojo. I truly do. He's one of the greatest fictional characters I've had the luxury of having to learn about and read about, but it doesn't matter how much I care and love this character. At the end of the day, what matters more to me is a good story being executed. Jujutsu Kaisen is one of my favorite mangas to read, and a successful plot line that has to be fully expounded upon would truly make me remember and enjoy this story for the most it's given me, since this manga at the end of the day is going to end very soon, either by the end of 2023 or closer to early 2024. So Gojo taking a loss here just does more for the story to me, unlike him winning. Him winning here and just bailing out his other students doesn't do a lot for the story for me. With that being said, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Do you guys actually think that this fight's over? Also, let me know, how good do you think my first ever video for this channel was? Truly give me the feedback in the comment section below, so I need to know what I need to improve on to upload better content for the channel. I'm going to be making One Piece, JJK, and many more anime and manga content later down the line. Just let me know in the comment section below which other anime and mangas you like that I can review and make videos about. With that all being said, hopefully all of you learned something in this video, and have a great, blessed rest of your day.